So that was an interesting couple days here on Michigan State Twitter, to say the least. But what's up, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to just give our opinion on all the discourse on Michigan State Twitter over the last day or two. If you're even a little bit online in the Michigan State Twitter sphere, you know what we're talking about with the news of Jaden Mangham specifically setting up a visit to that school down the road, as well as two other visits. But mainly the discourse was around actually setting up a visit to Michigan. But before we get into that, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and hit that like button if you enjoy the content and enjoy the video. But so let's just jump right in. It all started with the astounding, does amazing work, Connor Muldowney posting an article from his website, Spartan Shadows. Go give it a read if you haven't already. But posted this article on Jaden possibly considering transferring to Michigan. So that was just out there, promoting, his work from Spartan Shadows out there, article on a relevant topic, and Jaden setting up visits to three schools, Ohio State, Nebraska, and Michigan. So then this tweet was quote tweeted by Michigan State legend Tony Lippett saying, "I hope he go, LOL." Then another MSU great, Felton Davis, chimes in, "He dog food, huh?" Now, this is where everything hits the fan. So we should preface this. Obviously, I'm sure anyone who's really watching this video probably knows, but the Mangham brothers, Jaden and Jaden Mangham, both hit the transfer portal on the last day of the cycle. We talked about this at length in, I believe, 2 videos now. But so that's kind of the context behind this. So now this is where everything really hits the fan. Turns out there's a third brother in the mix. Mr. Jaden Mangham comes in with such a absolute sick burn. I don't know how Felton will ever recover from this, but a sick burn of saying, "You're wearing Fila in 2024. Shut your lame bleep up." Now, let's welcome in RJ Shelton, another MSU dog, into the chat. He chimes in, "Yes, him and his brothers are dog food. LOL. You leave MSU to consider that team down the road tells me all I need to know about you and your brothers. Hashtag pride comes before the fall." Now, back to Mr. Mangham. Jalen, you're 30 years, bro. You and Felton should act y'all's age and stop living in 2015. This ain't the MSU program y'all played for. Y'all should mind the business that pays you. Felton lastly closes out this little exchange. "That's the problem for sure. We paid our dues to the OGs that came before us. They showed us the foundation, what it meant to wear and be a Spartan. So anything MSU is our business, to be honest." Jalen continued on his Twitter rant and rave about, and other conversations with the fan base on Twitter, calling people dweebs on the internet. Okay, that's fair. He also went on saying, "Both my brothers gave everything they had to the program on the field." Okay, that's fair. I agree. I'm not saying that they were bad players or, gave up on the team or, any of the stuff. No one's saying any of that. But the problem here, Jalen, again, hey, just another dweeb here on the internet. Never played a snap of tackle football in my life. Probably get destroyed and probably broken in half if I even stepped 1 foot on a football field. So, knowing my place, just giving my honest opinion as just another dweeb on the internet. But I don't think Jalen is fully understanding why people are upset about this, and with even more, credentials, why former MSU players and MSU greats playing in a time where, 2010 to 2015, 16, where that was the golden age of MSU football in at least our lifetimes, unless you're going back to the 60s when we were winning national championships. This is the golden age of MSU football, and some of the best players from that era coming online to give their 2 cents and their opinion, of which that really matters, not the other dweebs on the internet, like me, as you like to say. But I don't think you're fully understanding why people are so taken back and upset over this. It's not that they're transferring. You can get that out of your mind. It's not that they're transferring. It's not that we think they didn't give everything to that they had to the program, as you said. Jaron, the other brother that transferred, the running back, giving it his all to now 4 different programs after committing to Minnesota the other day in his college career, so hats off there. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. It's kind of only even like 50% that he might go to that school down the road in Michigan, why people are mad. It's only about 50%. If Jalen would listen to some logical people on here and in this space who have actually said actual reasons, such as, say, Matt Sheehan, Locked on Spartans, This is Sparta, MSU podcast, Jason Strayhorn, Cedric Irvin. They actually had Tony Lippett and RJ Shelton on there. They all kind of echoed this fact too. And I believe most logical people in the MSU space, this is why they are so taken back by this, report that he might consider transferring to Michigan. And this is just Jaden specifically too. And it's nothing against any of the kids, Jaden or Jaren either. It's nothing against them. Jaren, in fact, was buried on the running back depth chart. So more power to him to find your playing time for your sixth season of college football. There's no shame there. I know that sounds kind of sarcastic, but honestly, no shame there. He was really buried on that depth chart, so go find playing time if you can. You only have a finite amount of time to play football, especially at the running back position. So if you can go to another spot and get some more playing time before you graduate and move on, to the next level or your next adventure in life, by all means, more power to you. Go do that. But the reason people are so upset is, in fact, that Jaden is projected to be a starter. Yes, started pretty much all of last year, but it's also the fact too that yes, he's a starter. I'm super high on the kid, still, even though he's transferring out of our program. I still think he's an all Big Ten guy, even though he's transferring out of our program, maybe not this year or next year, possibly this year even. I'm that high on the kid. I think he's really great. I loved the safety duo of him and Malik Spencer back there. I think that could have done great things for the MSU secondary. But now you want to transfer? Like, okay, maybe you don't mesh with the new staff. Okay, some other stuff, other situations, whatever. Just want a fresh start after everything that went on the last, 2 or so years. That's all fair and fine. But Coach Smith has been here since the end of November. You've been able to have conversations with him, see the staff that he's brought in. Why not transfer out in December then? Because you go through the whole spring and then transfer and let me tell you, it's not like he got jumped on the depth chart. Kind of a situation like his brother in the running back room who had got, jumped by, a true freshman in the running back ranks and was kind of buried on that depth chart, fourth, maybe even fifth, running back coming off the bench. It's not even that situation. There was no one in the safety room that was jumping Jaden. He was the surefire, starter. There's only probably like a handful of guys who are like surefire, you can put them in Sharpie on the depth chart. They are for sure starting come this fall. And Jaden was one of them. And then the fact that you also do it on the last day at the last minute too, that's also like if there was stuff going on in spring too and you would have transferred, like say you get 15 practices in spring. If you would have transferred after like practice 5, even like, okay, it's like, all right, stuff was going on. Maybe it wasn't going to work out, whatever. But that's not the case. But you transferred on the last day, the last minute that you could enter the portal after waiting this whole time. Now, I will add this to add a little bit of context and don't want this to get lost in the mix here, but Jalen did comment on the This is Sparta MSU live stream from last night on YouTube, and he commented, we're assuming it was him, obviously there's no way to know, it's just the name on the screen, it's not like he jumped on and, confirmed it was him. We don't know if this is true either, or if it was him, if he's just saying this, but, who knows? We'll take his word for it that it is true. He said that Coach Smith pulled Jaren, the running back brother, scholarship at the last minute, and so that could be the reason for the transfer there. If Jaden felt like they did his brother dirty and they truly did pull his scholarship at the last minute. Now, if this is true, then that's fair. That's a fair reason to want to start over and a change. If you felt like they did your brother wrong, you're like, I don't want to play for this program or this coach, whatever. That's family. But the premise here is, okay, then don't go to that school down the road then. Like, go to Ohio State, go to Nebraska, wherever else if you had any other visits. But when you say you're a SD4L, as the previous staff would love to throw around so much, when you're here, and I agree with the former players that can actually speak on this, that term was kind of diminished the previous couple years. With the previous regime, specifically Mel Tucker himself, throwing this around so much, and a few other things around the program as well. So I agree with them that, trying to get the true, like, Spartan dog meaning back and the culture right in the program. If you were truly a Spartan dog, you would not even consider Michigan as a possible destination landing spot if you transferred. Because it's not just a rival, like, oh, I hate them, because they're the rival school. Like, no, that university, that program, their players, their coaches constantly disrespect the program that you just played for and are transferring from, and you gave everything you had, because I agree, and you played in that game a couple times, but they constantly disrespect the program you played for and the university, players, everything. So that's the issue here, Jalen. It's not disrespecting your brothers for doing what they feel like is best to them. That's the world of college football we're in. They can do whatever they want and what they feel is best for them and their family. And I'm all here for that. That is fine. Mainly talking about the program, though, and I think that's kind of getting lost in the conversation and back and forth around this. Under the previous regime, they valued a lot of clicks and flicks on the field and, on social media, all this stuff, and saying they were Spartan dogs for life. But they don't actually live and believe in what the program is and how the program was built and got to where it was at, specifically, obviously, under Mark D'Antonio before the last regime came in. Then also just a side here too to address the people who are also talking about, oh, well, what about Ben Van Sumeren? He transferred from Michigan to Michigan State. For those who are saying that, do y'all not remember that Ben Van Sumeren at Michigan was not high up on the depth chart? Not saying he was buried, but he was not a starter at Michigan. He was more of just a rotational depth piece for that team, as opposed to Jaden, who is a projected starter, and as I said, a potential all Big Ten starter safety for this team coming in. But also, second, Ben's brother, Alex Van Sumeren, had just committed to Michigan State, right when Ben was transferring too. So this is not comparing apples to apples. This is apples to oranges in terms of comparison here. But anyway, I echo, obviously, as Jalen thinks, I'm just another dweeb on the internet. But the guys who can actually speak on this, such as Felton Davis, Tony Lippett, RJ Shelton, Brian Lewerke as well, kind of chimed in a little bit as well. I'm with all of them, because you know what all of them did when they were here, besides help build up this program to the culture and the standard that Michigan State should be at, and they set the standard. They also won here too. These are guys that played in the best era of Michigan State football in our lifetimes and, in our modern Michigan State football knowledge time. That's when they played. And like I said, this is not a knock on Jaden at all. I think he's an incredible player. I think he's an incredible kid too. I think he's going to be an all Big Ten guy, chance to go to the league. But it's really more so of a problem with the culture and everything else around the program that took such a hit over the last couple years that Coach Smith is going to and is trying to, and I think he's doing a good early job of rebuilding that culture like it was under Coach D'Antonio and getting that back of what it means to be a true Spartan dog. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the situation. I wish the Mangham brothers well, the best, wherever they go. Obviously, Jaron committed to Minnesota, and then wherever Jaden does commit as well. If it's Ohio State or that school down the road, we'll see him next year. If it's anywhere else, then who knows? We'll probably see him down the line as well as he finishes his college career. But wish the best of luck to them. But Jalen, too, I wish you well. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out and go green.